Thank you all for joining the Florida Veterans Business Outreach Center today. And we're going to talk about payment solutions for your business and what you need to know about today's touchless environment. And before we get started, I'd like to say that we are going to record this so that we can share it with our clients and post it to our website where it can be of benefit to those who are unable to attend today. So again, if you don't mind, just make sure that you mute yourself if you're not speaking. But we do encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation. So you can grab our attention in the chat box, or you can raise your hand with the icon, and we'll stop to recognize you at any time. Also, we'll have some time at the end of this section so that you can ask questions and get them answered. The Florida Veterans Business Outreach Center is funded in part through a cooperative agreement with Gulf Coast State College and the U.S. Small Business Administration. All opinions, conclusions, and recommendations expressed herein are of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the views of the SBA, even though our office is in the Panhandle to serve our clients throughout Florida. We assist military members transitioning to civilian life, veterans, active Guard and Reserve members, and spouses of all those groups who want to start a business or have one and they want to grow their existing business. We do this through Boots to Business sessions on military bases and through reboot classes at non-military sites and through various outreach and training sessions in Florida. We also provide individual business counseling and are honored to share our expertise with veteran businesses to help them succeed. And with that, let's see if I can advance this slide. Maybe not. But anyway, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Carlos Cornea, who is residing in Miami, and he's a fintech solutions expert with Heartland Payment Systems. And he also works with Apple. He's formerly a business banking relationships manager with HSBC and was a VP branch manager at Popular Community Bank and at Citibank. He earned an MBA degree in commerce and international business from the University of Miami, where he won a leadership award and often returns to mentor and be a guest speaker. And in his spare time from his family and work, he actively volunteers in the Miami area with Habitat for Humanity, March of Dimes, United Way, and Junior Achievement. So thank you, Carlos, for taking your time to share your expertise today, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I was looking forward to this and meeting most of you. That was a great intro. Yeah, I feel honored to get hearing from it. That's a great long list of a career success. Many stories about small business, which is one of my major inspirations as a professional. So with that said, you can move the slide. So that's me. Okay, thank you. So I am a territory manager at Heartland. Heartland is a payment technology company as we opened since 1997. And the idea with it is, as you might be reading, it's just delivering a fast, secure, omnichannel payment processing and business solutions to more than over 400,000 business locations nationwide. Currently, we offer from payments, point of sales, customer engagement, and lending as part of many of our products. One of the things I will tell you coming at Heartland, it's understanding one of the things that I find throughout my career where the customers have a need of improve and understand a little bit more how they can optimize the payments for their customers. One of them, as went through coming from the banking side in many years, coming through this side of the spectrum, I will share with you many practices which had led me to believe that my information will be very resourceful for you as you start understanding a little bit more after today what to look within your current merchant services, what to look ahead if you want to open your business, what to look if it comes down to e-commerce. But most importantly, what my goal today is to understand that you have a bill of rights in terms of as a business owners, what is it that you need to ask and get and serve your customers going forward. So as we see it in the screen, Heartland is part of the global payments company. We are direct processors. And most importantly, for you to get the idea, there's many processors nationwide, but we are kind of what we call a direct processor, which goes from your customers to your checking account. But I'm not going to get into those technical details. If it's okay, can you move forward on the next slide? So one of the core values that I live every day is servicing business of all sizes. We invest a lot of time in helping you to achieve your goals, becoming an extension of your business than anything else. Me personally, we operate with honesty, fairness, and transparency, which is the core values of Heartland. Me in particular, the way how I look at it is becoming an extension of your business is understanding what you really want versus trying to sell you something. So based on that, to me, what's important is understanding what you're looking for your business versus being in a point where you're getting something sell that you might not use. So I think we have some echoes in the background. If we can mute it.
Yes, if you're not speaking, please mute your phone or your computer. Thank you.
So the industries that we serve, right? This is a question that a lot of customers ask me when it comes down to payment solutions. In today's environment, as we go forward, and especially that we're becoming an environment that's safe and healthy is a main issue for many of us. The idea to find a partner solution with your current processor is how can that person provide you with idea or solutions that you didn't have before, that you thought about it, but now it's going to become a part of your day-to-day activities, right? Whether you have a POS in a restaurant, whether your industry is lodging, whether you have e-commerce, whether you're part of the government, whether you have hotels, whether you are in a service industry, whether you just only use a mobile device, whether you are in an institution where it's education. What's important for you today, we found, is the fact that your customers like to feel safe transacting with your organization or your business. So one of the many ideas that you might have before or not have before is just to really, besides understanding your product, now how can you provide a service for your customers where they feel, oh, it's secure to use, whether it's online, whether it's a contactless ways to receive your payments for your services. What is it that you're providing for me so it's safe for me to go to your store? So as you notice, we have a particular way to really understand any vertical that you have in the industry, and this is where it lead me to understand your rights. So for you to know your right as a merchant or as a business owner, this is one of the main takeaways that you should take today, as far as to connect it with your current environment in terms of your merchant processor, or to really understanding your right as a business owner, which you probably handle many hats, or wear many hats in cases where sometimes when we have discovered in the past, many other small organizations that provide merchant services or payment services don't really care much about your rights first. This is where our approach, as far as understanding what's in it for you in terms to what's your vision, what's your goal as a business owner, I go based on these base 10 rules, right? So as you see it, you have the right to know the fees for every current transaction and who's charging it. That comes whether it's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, whether it's a difference in between debit card and credit card. So we have an obligation to you to understand, for you to understand the education piece of it, to see what the fees that we charge you are coming from. That's fundamental when you live with transparency. You have the right to know the markup of a card brand fee, if whether it increases or not. So some of you might be or might not be aware that Visa, MasterCard, twice a year, they increment the markup based on your industry. But that's something that usually comes in your statements, but not of the many relationship managers have the ability to really keep you up to date with that for whatever reason. But that's something for you to be aware that you have the right to know that. You have the right to know whether there is a reduction that works in your favor. So therefore, you're aware of what's going on in your industry from the point of view of credit cards, right? So you have the right to know surcharges and bill backs. What that means in simple terms is any fees that the merchant charges you. So whether it's a surcharge that you can charge your customer or not, on this case, the merchant charges to you, whether it's a service, whether it's a software. You have the right to know that. You have the right to have dedicated service. And this is critical to me. And that's one of the reasons when I connected with Janice that she was telling me, look, the fundamental of how we work, it's understanding that you have someone working next to you, not as a babysitter, it's just a supportive partner for you to operate in this world that it gets complicated at time when it comes down to payment systems or credit card processor or just the simple terminal that you might have at your store. You also have the right to encrypt your credit card numbers to secure transaction. In today's environment, how much sensitive is your privacy? So we always, when we go up there and go to a restaurant, to a store or retail store to purchase anything, I'm sure that all of you are worried about, not so much worried, but you always care about your identity not being stolen on any of these credit cards, whether you go to a gas station. So your server, meaning your merchant services, should be able to provide you a peace of mind that your transactions are encrypted from your customers. So therefore, you protect your liability to receive for any chargebacks, which is, we will dedicate that keyword somewhere around along the presentation. Not the right of a real-time fraud and transaction monitoring. That's something that we take pride on understanding. Anything out of the ordinary, we will immediately contact you and let you know, okay, or I will contact you and let you know, hey, what's going on here? I could give you an example. During these last 2 months, I have a couple of customers calling me and they were doing transactions were not precisely on their industry. And we need to go back and do some due diligence to ensure that we educate both ends. Our end to understand what it is that you're doing and their end to avoid any fraudulent accounts that are not responding to your business. You have to know the real cost about your equipment. That's fundamental. That's the basic of when you establish this relationship with any of these providers or any service that you use. And last and not for this is you have the right to have a live customer service 24 hours a day, because as a human, we will not be able to support you every day on your business like it's normal. So you need to have the support in hand for you to really have any answers to support anything technical or any other question that you might have. So let's talk about our today's environment, right? So a lot of we found in the last 2 months, and this is from perspective coming from analyzing the trendings on behavior, that a lot of small businesses are not being served well by the current POSs. Typically what happens is the POS gets installed in your location and that's it. You don't have any point of contact. And going back to the previous slides, that was about your rights to know who the person you can contact with. Current POS systems that includes terminals or not, doesn't meet the unique needs of your simple business. This is something that we need to understand from my point of view. Understand you. What is it that you want? It's not about me putting a system in place. Oh, this is what you should take. No, I need to understand how you look at your clients. We need to understand what's the dynamic on your business. So that's something that currently we're seeing that a lot, it's happening now. The customer friction with POS is on the credit card. Yes, we touched bases briefly a little while ago. Customers come in, you swipe your device, you touch your devices. So that's something that going forward, you will see a changing in terms of what kind of devices could support you. And the good news are that there's many options for you available to improve how you can protect your health for your team, your employees, yourself, and even for your customers, that you will provide that peace of mind that they look for, so that contact with that point, it's not becoming an issue of have an aggravated customer interaction. And that goes to limit to multi-touch points. So what happens? So I see now, as we have a little bit of freedom to go out and see business, which I'm doing now, customers are putting plastics on top of the POSs. Some other customers that we require the screen in front of us, so you don't have that direct contact with the person on the other side of the counter. And what's important in here, what we learned on the existing journeys is, if you let your customer know this is the journey is going to be going forward, you will take ahead an animosity from your customers that they feel, oh, this business is taking care of me. Because we noticed that plastic on top of your counter, it protects your employee. But would you rather have a journey to your customer explaining what are we doing now versus what we're not doing before? We found that a lot of customers are feeling sensitive about it. And in this environment, the more that you are exposing what the solutions are for your customers, the better journey you're going to find in terms of how the ideas to have that contactless point of a service in that sense. Again, we notice that there's a large amount of 24/7, 365 days of tech support, which a lot of the companies are forgetting that small detail that a lot of small businesses didn't. So we go to the next slide. The call to action that we've seen in the last few weeks with our customers. Like when I mean customers, in this case, I'm going to be talking about the small business directly. What we're doing in a lot of cases is we try to connect with every business is tell me what are your needs. Tell me what your vendors are seeing, the ones that serve you for you to provide your service. What are you seeing that they might be something that you want to work on? So one of the things that we are educating and sharing with people around is what if you're open to an option to open virtual payments to your vendors or your own businesses, right? So that's something that a lot of customers are trying to kind of intrigue about it. A lot of them, we found that a lot of those customers are telling us, oh, that might be complicated. The good news are having what we call virtual terminals or something that it's a link to pay or anything that anything that you could provide that is contactless and it's easy for them to create a better journey. There are solutions for it available for you. So it's not as complicated as, and even it's not expensive as a lot of people think they are. We found that there's a lot of free virtual resources for you. So the more that you look into it, the more that you're going to find that there are solutions available for you to find creative ways to stay relevant with your customers. I don't want to take a minute for all of your businesses. When I mean relevant is we try and at this point, as your business reopens, we need to recalibrate your plans, right? Based upon different assumptions going forward. We don't have many answers. I'm sure you don't either. And there is a lot of anxiety to know what's going to happen next in terms of your business. Meaning, am I going to have the same traffic that I have previous to the COVID-19? What's going to happen? What's the customer behavior? So we find as long as we open to your customer portfolio, we said, okay, you have an industry that is very competitive and you see it's a landscape that your competitors are trying to do many things, right? So this is the right time for you to kind of restructure based on what you've seen around you, how you're going to react going forward to your business and see, okay, my neighbor is doing this. All right, let me just connect with him. Let's not see him as a competitor. He might share some ideas that might work for you or might not work for you to make an adjustment on your business plan that you have early this year. So you know that regulators might be very well changed how businesses are conducted for your business today. We're very aware of that. And this is where your communication piece will play a big part with all your vendors, your bankers, your accountant, your person that works with your merchant services. And if you're new into the business, establish a new business, this is where we can come in and support a part of your business plan, the ideas that would allow you to continue moving forward with the goal that you have early this year. So you have many stores that are trying to apply different practices, but this is the time to push for what? Educate your customer that you are open to have contactless payments. If you're practicing now, that's awesome. Continue pushing for that. But going forward, you will see a shift that in many industries was waiting to happen in the next 5 years that has been pushed to be happening within 3 weeks and starting March. So a lot of small businesses have been cut off in the middle. Okay, what am I doing now? Is this going to cost me a lot of money? Is this going to cost me, eliminating one employee? Well, I'm going back to tell you, there is options that are not going to cost you much, and which allow you to continue having the same success in your business, providing a new way to pay for businesses, right? So when I see on the right side that you see that mobile new banking, you've probably seen in research that your own banking is trying to promote contactless payments whether it's the ACH, with any other forms. I assure you, as your merchant service rep, explain me more what are my options, and I will assure you there will be solutions for you. So we're moving forward to the next slide. So this is where I take a little bit of time. As a consultant, one of my main goals that I tell my business is, don't look at me only, ask me questions. I'm not only a person that knows about just merchant services. We have an ability, since we connect in every community with multiple business, whether it's going to be We're talking about your accountant, your doctors, service businesses. So we are in the center of everything, as I showed you in the previous slide, that we have ability to have access to capital. We have ability to obviously create mobile pays. We have ability, if it comes down to restaurant, that we serve over 200 restaurants nationwide, online ordering, and we have something which is my favorite, electronic invoicing. So when I said that, it's important for me to take a pause here and tell you this. A lot of customers work with QuickBooks, and we integrate with them. We have ways to show text to pay. We have ways, we're in the service industry. I'll give you another example. People that works in plumbing, people that works in landscaping, people that works maintenance in pool, medical providers. We have ways to even improve and optimize the way how you receive your money from your customers. And you might find it will be, in most cases, much cheaper what you pay now. When I say that and imply to that is just for one simple reason. Go back, since you might not have it now, but you have the time to really connect with your bankers, with your accountant, to recalibrate the cost of your business, which is important for me. The way how I see and I talk to my clients is, look, let's reevaluate what's working for you, because we don't know how long we're going to be in this existing condition. We don't have the answer for how can you do tomorrow, but the answer that we do have is that we can optimize the way that you're operating to resolve so many pain pointers where your customers will feel more, and going back to at ease, making payments for your services, which eventually is what you're looking for. So finding and kind of creative ways for you to communicate with your reps or your service or your companies would allow you to really create a better way to optimize your cash flow on your business, and a new way to support your customers that are asking for how you conduct your business in today's environment. That regardless is contactless, which is something that we always encourage for, where a lot of customers are looking, okay, yes, this is what I'm looking for to ensure that those small businesses, or regardless of the line of business that you do, would like to have your money next day, right? With your technology that's up to date versus just what you were operating before. Next slide. Something that I like to touch bases with is the way how, going back to a few slides that I said about security and peace of mind of your transactions. As you continue, or as you go and communicate with customers, your vendors, and you communicate with your servants in terms of the service provided to your business, it's important that you calibrate and add something on that conversation, which is about security. How important is security for us today? It's huge. And these are the times that a lot of people, meaning the bad people, take advantage and start, hacking into your service, hacking into your information, hacking into your customers' information. Because why? We are in sensitive times where you worry about many things, and this is where the people that are experts stolen information are taking advantage of. This is when you see a lot of spam emails coming your way. Oh, you forgot to log in and provide certain information. You will be surprised. In today's environment, 2020, we see a lot of business receive emails and fail for it, because you're doing what you need to do on a day-to-day basis, which is taking care of business. So today, more than ever, this is when I will suggest, need to have more awareness about the information that you provide with your different vendors, with your providers, in terms of whether it's your banker or even on merchant services. So keep that on the top of your conversation with anybody that you talk when it comes down to serving your business. Go to the next one. Thank you. A huge word that many businesses dislike, and chargebacks has been always something that a lot of customers, if I have someone in the line that it's new to open their business, chargebacks are customers that will say that it was not their charges, and they will get that money back from you. One of the things that we put in place from the Heartland perspective is, and how to prevent it, is to ensure that you disclose your terms and conditions, understand your customers' needs, settle customer dispute regarding your merchandise. That's huge. A lot of mistakes that we see in the environment is business owners don't want to dispute regardless of the issue in the merchandise. You'll be surprised if you with a transaction that generates some money for you, but if you positioned in a way where you can provide a solution for your customer will avoid you a chargeback going forward. Something as simple as that will help you that a lot. Issue a credit to your cardholder. If you promise that you will credit your customers if they're unhappy about your service or your products, do it. That would not only resolve that situation, but you will gain your trust in the community that you work at, where the customers feel, okay, no, I trust this company, or I trust this business, or I trust this service, because if I'm not happy, they will do anything in their power to ensure I get the proper treatment or the proper service to the item that I bought. So if you're processing by mail or phone order transaction, be sure that your terminal is set up to perform address verification. Address verification, address verification. I said it again and 3 times. And I'll tell you what, a lot of customers, when we set up e-commerce, I'm sure most of you have purchased it, whether it's Amazon or any other item online. You go to the little cart, and there's an option that says, I agree with the terms and conditions and so forth, and they ask you just for your zip code. You as a business owner, believe it or not, you can create the values that you want the customer to pay you with in a sense of the verification purpose. Meaning, the more information that you ask, the more information the customer needs to put in, the safer that you will be on the side of avoiding a chargeback. That is huge, that a lot of small businesses do not like it. So I will always suggest to go on that route. Let's go to next. We're talking about social distance is something that we hear that every day now, that by the hour. So we found and put some points together here where we feel that the customer, from the merchant standpoint, from your business standpoint, I shall say, you elevate your customer engage, providing a solution that is contactless. We cannot assure you how critical that has become lately, where your customer have become more loyal to what you do. Yes, as I said on the second point, it really transforms your customers into your loyal fans, where they will promote you around. They will tell you, oh, business ABC, this is what they're doing now, and they're protecting not only their employees, they're protecting me to contact or any device. That has become such a huge item when we survey the customers on your business, that if we found this is huge, then also that will elevate your competitive playing field on an expanded way that you will go far out of your community. Something that we noticed that is being implemented by any business is recognize any reward loyal program that you put in place, whether it's a gift card, whether there's a credit on the next purchase, whether there is an incentive for them. That attracts your customers and newer customers to see, oh, this is what they're doing for the community. This is what they're doing. And that will start expanding your customer base on an interesting way that will they become loyal fans to you. Establishing that solid customer base and be flexible. Flexible is what will allow your customers to really see what is it that you're doing, not only from your perspective, but for them. Something that we promote that you will see around, this is a terminal that we use a lot, which is, you can walk around your business and use it. It's contactless, but any provider that you have up there, you probably have anything like that. Contactless, I could support you from Miami without any problem. You can, at the end of the presentation, you will have access to my email or my phone number or my contact information, I should say. But the idea with it is just to really ensure that you provide something on their customers that they didn't have before. What that means to you is, meaning, okay, Mr. Customer, I'm here to provide you something that we were not doing before, and this is the safe way to pay. So finding a technology available for you, every provider that you're working with should be able to have that conversation with you. Let's go to the next. Thank you. So one of the takeaways that I will tell you, try to show something to your within your community, to your customer that they haven't seen before. That will definitely pay you a long-term relationship with them.
Okay. This is Janice again, and thank you so much. So you've explored a lot of different areas that I think will be helpful to our clients and our business owners. And I'd like to open this time up now for some questions. So if you are muted, just please unmute your phone or your computer and ask away.
This is Jamie. May I ask a question?
Hi, Jamie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Can you, you mentioned mobile or neo banking. Can you explain more about what that means?
Yes, mobile payment. It's we have a business that in our portfolio that they just have the regular terminal standalone. So when we call mobile payments, you will have an ability. We will have an ability to integrate your mobile device, your cell phone, and have for you the ability to walk around with yourself and use it for as a point of sales. So mobile banking is or neo banking is more something that we see with other partners integrating with Heartland to be able to provide pretty much banking at the palms of the hands. So therefore, let's say you have a transaction, a customer pay you for your service that you're not in that location. That transaction right there, you could provide your service. Let's say that you have a business of a dry cleaner or a pool cleaner or a pool service. That person will pay you right there, and the next day you have already that deposit in your bank versus that person needs to go to your store, pay the service, and then you send the technician out. So that's what we call mobile banking.
And is that integrated with some kind of e-invoicing?
Yeah, we can integrate it with invoicing, yes.
So with the dry cleaner, I would take my dry cleaning and then the cleaner would send me an electronic bill or a text that says cleaning is
Yeah.
ready, pick up this, and I just go ahead and mobile pay through my Apple or Google Pay or through
Yeah.
my payment system, and then my cleaner gets paid. I jet by, I pick up my stuff, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, within that context. Let's say the cleaner will tell you your clothing is ready. He send you the text for a payment. You click on it, and you make the payment right in there, and you can just stop by and pick it up without even getting out of your car.
Carlos, that seems like a very convenient way to pay, and I really appreciate that. Have you seen an increase in that now, or is it more just people interested in trying to get information?
We've seen both. I mean, obviously, people are trying to find ways to provide, auctions for their customers. Particularly in the service industry, people that have to go out of the store and do service, whether it's cleaning, roofers, electricians, usually they go to the location. The customer either give you a check, you have to take back the check back. That's something that we can completely avoid and make things faster and get you operate better. For someone who's becoming a supplier, a vendor, we're able to send that link for payment directly to the vendor. The vendor will pay and your money's the next day versus just waiting for an ACH perhaps, or just a lot of business still working with checks to be paid for, whether it's an inventory, that happens a lot. But we see an incremental of that, it's in high demand.
Okay. And, all of our business owners, most of them start out because they've been in the military and, they are bootstrapping using what cash they've got and trying to start with as little money as they have to get their business started. So as far as cost, is there, can you pay a one fee for something like this to a merchant service? It would include these contactless payments such as links, or how do you do that for pricing? I'm just curious how a merchant, a
Sure.
business might look
Yeah.
budget for that.
When we have a customer, usually when I sit with that person, I just need to understand what are you looking for. First question. Second question, tell me about what's your business plan for the next year and what are your demographics in customers. So understanding how the dynamics is going to work. That's when we're able to talk about pricing. In a situation where it's an electronic link, when you come down to cost, we have several ways. Because I can tie the first question. If you tell me, okay, I'm going to generate in business $100,000 this year in sales using credit card. Going from that point, I'm able to elaborate a proposal whether it's only on pricing with the credit, like the credit card as on transactions, or just a fixed payment. So that's when we sit together and say, okay, let's evaluate which one is the cost for you that allows you to operate on a cheaper side versus not. And that's where I usually sit down with the business, and it's understanding first what they're looking for. But I will assure you, any new business owner, we're able to provide something economical for them to start, especially when it comes down to electronic transactions, like anything in the e-commerce or for that matter.
Okay, so it sounds like your solutions or any solutions like this are scalable. So if I start out
Yeah.
working at some just like going to fairs and selling something I've knitted, then that's one thing. But if I got a little bit bigger and wanted to sell it online, I might think of different solutions. So I guess you can stay with the customers, they grow, or change how they do business.
One of the things that I always encourage any new business owner or someone who's establishing a business for whatever career you have in the past, whoever you talk to about any payment solution, whether it's a terminal or electronic, make sure that you deal with someone, it's not a salesperson. I know it sounds hard to say or hear. What happened and I found throughout my career, when you deal with someone who sells, it's all about them versus what about you. So from that perspective, what happened is if you have someone who cares more about what your vision is, you will establish partnership with that person. So therefore, there will be an interest on both ends to ensure that we find the most economical pricing for you, which will be aligned to what you want to do. Because to me, it's not about selling something; it's about to finding the right solution that you could afford and make you successful on your business utilizing today's technology. That is a huge piece of this.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And we teach in our Boots to Business class about the value of establishing a relationship with a banker, an accountant, insurance, and lawyer early on in the business process. And I think this goes
Yeah.
along with what we talk about with that. You know, it's very important because you need that relationship so that not only when things are going good, but when things are difficult, then you know who to call. You're not.
Right.
Do we have any other questions?
I'll chime in and ask one. So we have a client or have several clients who really just have online businesses. They're involved in some kind of e-commerce, so there is no storefront. How do you approach that kind of business?
Well, all of them, it's typically for the most part, all these clients that have e-commerce presence, they're working already with companies that use your clients probably are using platforms that have already been established. So in a case like that, if the business has been around for a while, we get to analyze their statements, and that's when we can estimate the cost of the service that you're paying for. So if you have someone who's been using Shopify, for instance, we integrate with Shopify. So Shopify will create a statements for you so we can see for the last 3 months of what you're obviously, let's just try to think about the normal situation, and we were able to estimate, okay, this is what you're expecting to be spending throughout the year based on these. But yeah, we can actually figure it out a weight of cost on what your service is or what you're paying for it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions?
No problem.
Now's the time. You've got someone here that can answer for you if you do, but if you don't have a question now, or if you think of something later, that's fine. I did drop in contact information in the chat box. You should be able to find that there. And it's got the LinkedIn account or page for Carlos, for the Florida VBOC, also for myself. And I put the VBOC website in there. And that's vboc.org. Yes. And you can reach myself, you can reach any of the other counselors in our Florida office. And like I said in the beginning, we do serve the whole state of Florida. So we're happy to help you no matter where in the state you might be located, or if you're in the process of relocating to Florida. And with that, I will open it up one more time to see if there's any questions.
I think, I'm not sure, somebody wrote about online-based e-commerce. Was that the person that asked the question now? That is the benefit of cost saving on online-based e-commerce sites? I think I'm going to re-answer that. Yes, there is a cost because you don't have an equipment, but we have to look into consideration what are the service fees that they're charging you for using the platform. So that's where you need to look into it when you're using one of those platforms, Shopify or many others, and that's the key where we can find the saving piece to move into another platform where we'll provide you more savings for processing.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time, Carlos. We appreciate you doing this for us and for the veterans and their
Anytime.
families. And we will adjourn at this time and look forward to maybe more sharing of information soon. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.